Hi, it's Lyndall Parker Newland here from IMG SOS. It's Saturday evening and I've just been doing some tutoring with my wonderful doctors that are preparing for the OSCEs at the end of October. Well done guys, you worked hard tonight. While I was doing that, I received a couple of questions on the IMG SOS website, particularly around the structure of the AMC MCQ exams. And there seems to be a bit of confusion there, so I just thought I might jump online and, rather than write some great huge document, to just explain a little bit about how the MCQ written exam works. The questions I got was that somebody had read somewhere or heard a rumour that when you sit the exam, everybody who sits the exam gets a different test. That the questions that you might be sitting might be different to the questions your friend's sitting. That's actually true. The second question was that what they had read or had heard was that as you do the exam, it gets progressively easier or harder depending on what you answer, which is also true. And so the person that was talking to me online was very concerned, understandably, about how that would work marking-wise. How can you actually get an accurate mark if everybody's sat a different exam? And it's actually about item response theory, so I thought I might explain to you how that works. The AMC has a huge database of questions, and each of those questions is assessed regarding its difficulty. So they have quite extensive data on every question about how many people are likely to get that question right and what their ability is for that particular question. Now, in a traditional exam, you might sit 200 questions or 300 questions, and depending on your ability, some of those questions will be too easy for you. You get them right without thinking. And some of those questions will be too hard for you that you have no hope of getting right. That can make it inaccurate because in any given test, there's only some of the questions that really test you. If somebody has less ability than you, then there'll be more hard questions they can't get right. Or if somebody has more ability than you, all the easy questions are too easy and don't test them. That's the problem with standard exams, and that's why they have to be so long to get accuracy. With a computer adaptive test, what happens is as you sit each question, there's a whole lot of data on that question to know what your ability is when you get it right. The computer, will then adapt and use an algorithm to choose the next question out of the database based on what you just got right or what you just got wrong. So if you get a question wrong, it'll say, okay, well that one was too hard, so the ability is slightly less than that. Let's give them another question slightly easier and see how they respond to that one. Similarly, in the other way, you get an easy question right, they give you a slightly harder one. You get that one right, they give you a slightly harder one. So the computer adjusts to your ability, which actually gives you a much more accurate score. It means that most of the questions are right around your level of challenge, so you get better, more accurate, more precise results. Now, there's a couple of things about that are important when you prepare. The second person I had spoken to had been told by somebody, if you get some of the easy ones wrong, don't worry, you'll get an easier paper. That's really bad advice. In the AMC exam, you want to get as many of the hard questions right as you can because that's how they determine your ability. The hard questions obviously will give you a better mark than the easy questions. So it's the same as any exam. Do the absolute best you can. The other thing is, though, I mentioned that for every question there is a huge database in the background which they need to have to use a question. That occurs because of pilot questions. About 20 questions in your paper won't be actually for marks. They're pilot questions where the AMC are gathering data to use them in the future. Now, you don't know which questions they are, so some of the questions that you'll spend time on actually are not worth anything to you. They're tested. Again, all you can do is do your best at it. But here's the final crunch. A lot of people spend a lot of time sharing recall papers. Now, I think you really need to be very sceptical about recalls. There's a couple of problems with recalls. Firstly, people don't recall them accurately. So people get a slight word here and there wrong, and that can completely change the question. But the second thing about recalls, particularly in a computer adaptive test, your exam is going to be different than the other person that sat it with you. It's going to be different to the person that sits next to you on the day. So there's probably not a lot of value in trying to study based on somebody's hazy memory of a test that they did, because you may never see those questions at all. What's the take-home message? Well, look, don't be frightened about the computer adaptive test. It's actually good for you. It means a more accurate measure of your ability and you having to do less hours and hours of tests to get there. The second take-home message is study all the content, do the best you can, and don't listen to too many of the rumours on the web because they're usually not accurate. This is a pretty solid exam, and if you do your work, you should be fine. I hope that's been useful to explain how it works. And also, of course, if you have any questions, if you need any help, and obviously consider enrolling in one of our courses. Find us on Facebook, follow us on the internet, and the tutors here at IMGSOS are here to help. Okay, hope that was useful. That's my Saturday night tip of the week from us regarding the AMC. Good luck, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye.